Hey, Shalom, Meshal. I want to start off as always by giving no praise to Yahweh Hashem, Yahshua Hashem, Kodash, that belongs to the apostles of GMS, and honestly, brothers doing the work and truth, more sincerity. This is a quick one going through Maccabees. I was reading this and it basically, it made me think about and apply it to the times now. Right, it's really the ninth verse, but I'll read into it. It says, First Maccabees 4:8. It says, Then said Judas to the men that were with him, Fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea, when Pharaoh pursued them with an army. Right now, therefore, let us cry unto heaven, if peradventure the Lord will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and to destroy this host before our face this day. Right, like I said, the point that I wanted to hit was in verse 9. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea, when Pharaoh pursued them with an army. Now we know the time that we're heading into is going to be a time like no other. You got Jeremiah 30 verses 6 and 7. You've got Daniel the 12th chapter, and it's going to be a time like never before seen, right? So this here is, for me, it was kind of like, in that day, we're going to have to always remember, which something that we try to do anyway, right? But it's whenever we're in a situation, getting in the habit of remembering what the scriptures say, and always know this is what the scriptures say, right? And always remembering that the Lord is the one who delivers, right? That's really what I'm trying to get at here is, the Lord is the one that delivers in these situations, right? And I've got two quick precepts. This is Romans 15:4. It says, For whatsoever things are written aforetime are written for our learning, right? So, for instance, there you see Judas is basically quoting the deliverance from ancient Egypt, right? Now, this deliverance is going to be greater than that, right? But, if we're in a pickle, we've got to remember in these things like, the scripture said, rather it is written in the scriptures, Daniel was in the lion's den and then, he was saved. It was miraculous. Or the case of Azariah, Mishael, I always forget their Hebrew name, Salakia, but, their Babylonian names was Daniel, Meshach, Daniel, Shadrach, Daniel, Meshach, and Abednego. Slack, my memory fails me at the moment, right? But basically we know these stories about how they were casting the lions in the oven, right? And then they were all right, right? They didn't, they not even hair was singed from them, right? The Lord protected them, right? These are the stories that were written aforetime to strengthen us in these days that are to come. Because what did the scripture say about these days? It says, for the days are evil, right? So, we've got a load of different, precepts throughout the scriptures where, the Lord delivered the children of Israel. And in these last days, we've got to remember them, right? So Sirach 2:10, look at the generations of old and see. Did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? Right? Once again, going into this point of, when you look at the scriptures, right, the Lord delivers the children of Israel. And then in this particular precept, right, the children of Israel are delivered, right? They put, a whole load of people to flight, because at the end of the day, if the Most High is with us, right, who can be against us, right? And that's it. And that's that, that's that faith. Hebrews 11 is another example of this, where it's just like, oh, so-and-so did this in faith, that and that other person did that in faith, right? And this event happened because of faith, right? So we're going to be delivered through faith. What does the scripture say? Without faith, it is impossible to please him, right? Hebrews 11:6, right? And it also says that faith is a gift, right? So in these last days, we should all be praying, fasting if we need to, right? For more faith, right? And to keep us grounded so that in times of calamity, right? We remember what the precepts say. We remember what the scriptures say. We remember, as it says here. In this is even something Apostle Tahar, mentioned in the video he did today. Some when it comes, sometimes you be like, whoa, you might get a shake, a little bit of a shake or whatever, right? But then you got to snap back. You got to snap back into this. No. Be firm in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. These are things that were written aforetime to happen, right? And what else is written aforetime to happen? The deliverance. If you actually read the precepts, right, majority of the time it talks about Jacob's trouble, right? It ends up with saying, but he shall be saved out. And in fact, let's prove this, right? So just Jeremiah 30. Is it 7 or 6? I forget where the exact point is. Yeah, it says, Jeremiah 30:7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Well, and in this topic of remembering this, what was written aforetime, right? Remembering the stories, right? This is another thing to remember. No matter how hard it gets, the Lord is going to save us, right? If we're of the elect, no matter how hard it gets, man, you might watch your mom get shot, your dad get shot, your wife get shot, your child get shot, right? You might witness all of that, right? But if you're of the elect, ultimately, you're going to be saved, right? So things may get hard, and things will get hard. I'm not saying it's going to get that hard, right? Every man's lot is different, but things are going to get hard, right? Daniel's 12, another example. And at that time, right, shall Michael stand up, and the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, to the time of the flood, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? The ransacking in 70 AD, right? That's not going to compare, right, to what's about to happen, right? The deliverance from Egypt was a great deliverance. But you read Jeremiah 16:14. What does it say? It says, no more shall it be said, Yahweh liveth, that, roughly paraphrase, and bring up the children of Israel from the land of Egypt. But Yahweh liveth, that bring up the children of Israel from the land of the north, referring to America, referring to this salvation, right? So carrying on, it says, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Right? Once again, this thing on deliverance, right? Let's see whatever Zephaniah 1:14. What does this one say? Right? It says the great day of the Lord is near, and hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of Yahweh, right? That the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble, a day of distress, a day of wasteness, desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I'll bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. Right? Yeah, because this is why this is happening, right? Because of the sin, that has happened to, rather the sin that's been committed, man, right? But if you got that cloak of, exemption, you're gonna be all right. You'll be all right. Right, it says, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. So yeah, these heathens, for instance, man, with all so they ain't gonna be able to find a way out. Right, so, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for it shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Right. See what precepts we have here. Revelation 3:10. Right, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Right, so this is one, not the reward. One of the rewards for doing this work is the Lord's going to protect us, man. Right, in these times to come, and this is another thing that we've got to remember. Right, that the Lord has us, and will protect us and take care of us in these last days. Right. It says, which shall come upon all the world, right? So one of the points that Elder Yeshawamba, made, he did a video on a response to the one Apostle Tar did about should we get passports and leave. Right, and one of the points that he made is, look, man, it's gonna be everywhere. You might move to England. Let's say you're in America, you might move to England. Well, England's gonna push it, right? Because you remember what does the scripture say? Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, so it's everywhere. Whoops, right? It's everywhere, right? It says to finishing off, it says to try them that dwell upon the earth, right? Yeah, it's the only trouble got there. It's just playing. But yeah, man, like I said, just a quick one. As always, Lord's word, I was edifying. And yeah, let's all remember that the Lord will deliver us. Right? It's not a if we're of the elect, it's not a if, but or maybe it's a will. If we're of the elect, we just have to have faith that we're of the elect. As I believe elder brother, I forget his name, but as he said, it's like, if you don't believe you're of the elect, why are you doing this? So until next time, Shalom.